What's going on, Colts Nation? I appreciate you joining me for another video where, hey, I was able to get out of my day job early trying to get you another video because we had one earlier today about, hey, Chris Ballard not getting anything done. Everybody else making moves. Everybody else restructuring contracts and opening up money and releasing players and signing new players. This all started throughout the weekend, right? Trading. Are we going to do anything? And earlier today, it sure looked like nothing was going to happen. But then let's see what time this was. It was right around 2:50. So right when I left for my day job, pretty much, they decided they finally wanted to get in on the mix. The Colts signed safety from the Minnesota Vikings, Cam Bynum. They agree on a 4-year, $60 million deal. I don't have all the details of the deal of how much of it's guaranteed and this and that, but it's a 4-year, $60 million deal. And Cam Bynum is a guy, like, as you look through the stats that people are putting out there, I mean, just incredible player coming in for $15 million a year. Incredible durability, and this comes from Nate Atkins. Incredible durability, 0 missed games in the last 3 seasons. Okay, 17-game seasons. He's playing all of them. In this past year, right, he was targeted 31 times. And he only gave up 13 completions with 1 touchdown and had 3 interceptions. Right, and then when you look past that, can he make tackles when he has to? Well, he's a good tackler. He had 97 different tackles, or 97 stops is the verbiage here by Nate Atkins. 97 stops, 17 misses last year. So there's some misses on the board, but nonetheless, 97 stops, somebody who gets a lot of tackles from that safety position. And, of course, great vibes guy. If you know Cam Bynum, this is a guy, or if you don't know him, this is a guy last year, all the celebrations from the Vikings, all the great celebrations from the Vikings was Cam Bynum. So him and Nick Cross, of course, Kenny Moore, Jalen Jones, these guys are all going to be able to celebrate together. And it only gets better from there because there's a name I just left off intentionally for you guys because the secondary is not done being upgraded. Cam Bynum also going to be able to put celebrations together by cornerback Charvarius Ward. No way I ever thought this was actually going to happen, especially when we got Charvarius Ward. I did not, for the life of me, think that getting with when we got Cam Bynum, or rather, I didn't think we would get Charvarius Ward. And here we are getting him where former 49ers cornerback Charvarius Ward reached an agreement on a 3-year deal worth up to $60 million, including $35 million guaranteed and a $20 million signing bonus with the Indianapolis Colts. So just like that, the Colts secondary gets major upgrades, and just like that, the conversation around Chris Ballard changes. This is a guy that we've said for years, hey, you got to do something, man. You got to do something. We know we need to upgrade at this position, and this position, and this position, and he never does it. And then he builds through the draft, and he gets talented guys, but we haven't had these level of guys. The level of guys that he just paid for, we haven't had in the building. Now, it's going to be interesting. How is the defensive line going to work? Is there anything else that could potentially happen here, right? And we're not done talking about the secondary, but just looking at other things, because now it's, hey, what do we do going forward? How do you bring other guys in? Well, Braden Smith restructured his contract. He's going to stay with the Colts, but they did restructure his contract, a revised contract to remain with the team in 2025. There are no numbers on that, even at this point. Like, I've looked, there are no numbers as of right now as to how much space was opened up because of that. Now, if you release Braden Smith, you open up $16.8 million. So what's the number end up being for Braden Smith? And what exactly will that look like? Is a revised contract where he goes to veteran minimum because he doesn't expect to play in 2025? That is a valid question. Like, so many question marks surrounding Braden Smith right now. And at some point, we got to get answers to something, right? Like, as fans, you got to tune us in on what's going on with Braden Smith. I understand you can't give us personal details about what's going on with him and his family and whatever that is. But at some point, we got to know, is this guy expected to play? What's his cap number? Like, we need to know what's going on here. So we'll see what happens there. But then I saw it was a good tweet from, that's what I thought. Destin Adams here said the Colts have multiple options to restructure vets and gain even more cap space if they are serious about wanting to improve the roster. And of course, this is where Jim Irsay has to step in. You start restructuring contracts, you're probably giving more of a signing bonus, more guaranteed money up front. So you're giving these players cash right up front, which of course is what we're doing with two players that we just signed. But you give Buckner $16.3 million for a max restructure. Michael Pittman Jr., his max restructure is $8.4. Quentin Nelson's max restructure is $7.6 million. Now, if we were able to do all three of those, right? What's likely in that bunch? Not sure. I'd like to see us at some point. Hey, let's worry about getting Quentin Nelson extended for years to come. Go ahead and get that deal done. But as I sit here, look at the numbers, right? You're looking at 16.3 plus 8.4 is 24.7 plus 7.6. So that comes out to a nice even 32, where you can open up $32 million just by doing that right there. And then if you restructure, then do you have to cut anybody, right? Raekwon Davis already gone, but Braden Smith restructured. So the next domino to fall is Samson Ebukam. What happens with him? Do we get rid of him and open up $8 million in cap space? What's the plan, right? And now maybe you do all these restructures and you get $32 million and you cut Samson and then you trade for Trey Hendrickson. And with the money that defensive ends are making, you pay him a new contract of, I guess it would probably be like $36 million, right? A little bit more than Max Crosby, but less than Myles Garrett. That's what I would assume is probably going to happen. And they're making a lot of money. So that's probably what you would have to do if you wanted to get Trey Hendrickson. But just imagine with what we got. Okay, this is a dream scenario where we get Cam Bynum, Charvarius Ward in the secondary, and now you also go get Trey Hendrickson and have Trey Hendrickson on the opposite side of Liatu Latu. And then you have, of course, Defoe and Grove in the middle. And you also have a division where the Texans just shipped out Laramie Tunsil to the Commanders. Hey, by all means, if we bring in Trey Hendrickson, our defensive line is going to be unstoppable in the division. 6 division games, and none of them. The Jaguars' offensive line is all right. The other two, I think our defensive line would love the matchup with either of them, especially if we were able to get Trey Hendrickson. Now, I do think because of how the offensive lines around the AFC South look and Lou Anarumo coming in and what he's going to do, I do think we can take advantage of the offensive line still, but it'll be better with Trey Hendrickson, of course. Now, as we continue to see here, look at Cam Bynum. This dude from 2023, the beginning of 2023 to the end of 2024. Cam Bynum ends up with 19 pass deflections. So there's 2 seasons worth of stats combined here. 19 pass deflections, 6 touchdowns allowed, 5 interceptions through 2 seasons, 3 forced fumbles, a 10.7 to 11% missed tackle rate, where Julian Blackmon was at 15.2% in 2024. He had 37 run stops, 233 tackles over a 2-year span, which is crazy. 148 of those solo tackles as a safety. His coverage grade was 69.7 in 2023, 58.6 in 2024. Now, the Vikings are also a team that tend to have a lot of different coaches because, they continue to have success. So their coaches continue to get poached. And so Cam Bynum operating in a more aggressive system under the former Dolphins coach. I don't even remember his name right now. But the new defensive coordinator for the Vikings, much more aggressive. And hey, every now and then the Vikings got burned over the top because of it. So we'll see how Lou Anarumo is aggressive, but not as aggressive as what the Vikings were this past season. So that'll be tampered a little bit. I think there will be less mistakes from that. And I think whatever mistakes were made in the defense he was playing in is a good learning experience, right? Learning it better from it. So as we go forward here and looking at another tweet here, this one from Noah Compton, talking about Cam Bynum, says new Colts safety Cameron Bynum is a fun player who patrols the deep middle third comfortably. Playing primarily at free safety, Bynum is a playmaker with versatility to play in the box or in the slot. In 3 seasons as a starter, he has 7 interceptions, 25 pass breakups, 3 forced fumbles, 0 games missed, 1 penalty committed, still 26 years old. So by the time this contract comes up, he'll be 30 years old. But we get a young guy in the prime of his career. As a starter, he's never missed a game. He has 1 penalty in 3 years. You love to see that. Not a guy that's going to cost the defense, a guy that makes clean hits, a guy that gets pass breakups and makes things difficult from that safety spot, covers a lot of ground. Exactly what you want to see getting here in the secondary. I mean, look at this secondary. This one, Noah Compton as well. New look Colts secondary. Boy, oh boy. Cornerback 1, Charvarius Ward. Cornerback 2, Jalen Jones, slot corner, Kenny Moore. And then at free safety, Cameron Bynum. Strong safety, Nick Cross. Absolutely love. That's the secondary we get to go into 2025 with. Boy, oh boy. If we can find a way to get some more cap space, do some restructures, get rid of Sampson, and bring in and make a trade for a team in the Bengals who are spending a lot of money on defense right now. So why not go, hey, maybe they're okay with going ahead and getting rid of Trey Henderson. They got all these new guys coming in, so let's make that trade. Open up space, restructure contracts, get Jim to fork over the money, and hey, let's go get Trey Henderson and make this Lou Anarumo defense maybe the best in the league next year. Right, of course, you have to get through the draft, the rest of free agency. What are other teams going to do? But boy, the optimism surrounding the Colts right now and the moves that we're making, being able to close the deal on 2 of the best players at their position in the NFL to join some of the best players at their position, Kenny Moore, Defoe, Zaire Franklin, if you want to lump him in there. And of course, if you make the trade for Trey Henderson, you add another player at the top of their position coming into this Colts defense. So we'll see what can happen. Colts, again, dishing out overall in total annual value, $35 million in total annual value between 2 players. And again, the guarantees for Charvarius Ward, $35 million. Guarantees for Cam Bynum right now, not exactly sure. Now, there are other things happening with players that were on the Colts, and I want to talk about that as well. Some different guys that were on the team throughout their careers and are getting signed elsewhere, finding different opportunities and getting paid good money. We'll have a video for that here in a little while, so make sure you subscribe, make sure you have notifications on. Going to continue to update you guys as we continue to go along. I'll get videos to you as soon as I possibly can. Of course, I appreciate you stopping by for another video, and as always, take care of yourself, take care of each other, and go Colts.